Well, good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Tom Schlueter with today's Tom's Take. I want to talk to you about something today that is dear to my heart, but let me make it clear. I believe it is dear to our Father's heart as well. Matter of fact, it's the key that unlocks his heart. Back in 2007, actually a couple years prior to that, we had carried out some assignments here in the Arlington area where a massacre had taken place between the Texas militia and basically a peaceful tribe. Basically, because people are going to protect themselves, the Caddo Nation. They had their village along Village Creek here in Arlington. The men and boys had all gone out on a hunting party, and the militia came in, and there was a battle, and a massacre of several of the women and of the elderly. In dealing with that, I had called upon strong Native American leaders in America, one who's gone on to the Lord, Jay Swallow, a dear friend, to come in along with his friend, John Benefield from Oklahoma, who had done a lot of work with reconciliation issues between Native Americans and Anglos. They came in. We had a powerful day of reconciling, healing, and bringing about God's restoration to the city of Arlington for what had been happening back in the 1800s. That just opened up the door, because in the process of that, Jay introduced me to the chairperson of the Caddo tribe up in Oklahoma, who was a direct descendant of Quanah Parker, a Comanche leader back in the 1800s. And then he said, I want you to meet some from the Comanche Nation. Well, he was going to do that in January of 2007. Well, he was ill during that meeting, so he could not make it, so I was really kind of disappointed. But at one point, I left the stands. It was in a basketball arena in Denton, and I left the stands to go down to the platform because I felt like I needed to share something with Cindy Jacobs, who was about to speak. And I can't even remember what that was. I just know that as I came off the stage, I was walking down the steps, and at the bottom of the stage was this man standing there, and on his shirt, it had written, Comanche. Can't make it up. I went up to him and I said, are you Comanche? And a lot of people times will wear shirts that they just want to represent a tribe or a brand of oil or a brand of whiskey. And he said, oh yes, I'm Comanche. Mark Wa'adawa. I think I scared him because I embraced him and tears started welling up in my eyes, because I knew it was a God-ordained moment to meet. The rest is history. He is a dear friend of mine, a dear brother of mine, and how unique it is for a German to have a covenant relationship. Oh, there's the word. That's the key. A covenant relationship with a member of the Comanche Nation. Wow. But that's not where this story begins. Let me read you the history of something here. The Fisher-Miller land grant comprised lands between the Llano River and the Colorado Rivers and constituted the hunting grounds of the Comanche Indians. This land was to be used for the settlement of the immigrants who were arriving in Texas under the auspices of the Society for the Protection of German Immigrants. Prince Karl of Solms-Braunfels, we get New Braunfels from that, the first commissioner of the society, had pledged from the beginning that he would do his utmost to get on good terms with the Indians. It was, however, not until John Moisbach had taken charge of the affairs of the German immigrants that regular expeditions into Indian-controlled lands took place. Government officials, however, were unable to assure military assistance, and surveyors refused to enter the region for fear of being attacked by the Indians. Dr. Friedrich Schubert's expedition into the area antagonized the Indians, and his inaccurate reports estimated the number of Indians inhabiting the area between the Llano and San Saba rivers as between 40,000 and 60,000. The Fisher-Miller land grant awarded by the state of Texas stipulated that land had to be settled, at least in part, and surveyed by the fall of 1847. It became therefore necessary to enter the Indian Territory. A mounted troop, including well-armed Germans, Mexicans, and several American surveyors, set out from Fredericksburg, Texas, on January 22, 1847. They were joined in camp by Moisbach 2 days later. A detailed report of the expedition was written by a noted geologist, Ferdinand von Rammer, and is still available. The governor of Texas had sent a messenger to warn Moisbach of the consequences of entering Indian Territory. However, contacts with the Indians had already been made and the deliberations continued. The final session took place on March 1st and 2nd, 1847, at the Lower San Saba, about 25 miles from the Colorado River. The treaty was made between the head chiefs, Buffalo Hump, Santa Anna, and others. It's not the same Santa Anna of the Revolution, and others, and Moisbach, called by the Comanches El Sol Colorado because of his red flowing beard. It was ratified in Fredericksburg 2 months later. The treaty allowed Moisbach's settlers to go unharmed into Indian Territory and the Indians to go into white settlements, promised mutual reports on wrongdoing, and provided for survey of lands in the San Saba area with a payment of at least $1,000 to the Indians. The treaty opened more than 3 million acres of land to settlement. The original Moisbach Comanche Treaty document was returned from Europe in 1970 by Miss Irene Marshall King and Dr. Cornelia Marshall Smith, granddaughters of John Moisbach. The document was presented to the Texas State Library in 1972. Right here, that side. Sorry, I can't get my directions correct here. Right behind me on the wall is a photocopy of that treaty between the Germans and the Comanches. Can't make this stuff up. But now here's what's most powerful. This treaty, as far as we know, is the only one, even though it's private, between the Germans and the Comanches, is the only one that has never been broken in our nation. It stands as a testament of what covenant is all about. I can't tell you the many times that I've gathered together with Native American, indigenous people in celebration and in worship, and acknowledging and honoring each other. Mark and I, back in April of 2007, shared our flags with each other as a covenantal sign. I gave him the flag of the state of Texas, and he gave me the flag of the Comanche Nation. We wove them together around the poles and committed ourselves to each other as well. The power of covenant. That is what is the key to what God does to unlock healing, restoration, awakening, in the land and among the peoples of the land. I cherish that document hanging there behind me. And I cherish more so the Native American brothers and sisters that I have now come to know over these last almost 20 years, actually almost closer to 25. It's amazing to me that my father, Pastor Arnold Schlueter, had a ministry that he founded in Scottsdale, Arizona, back in 1952. We moved there not long after I was born in February of that year. In the 2 years that he was there, he developed good relationships with Navajo people. And he had always had a dream that he would minister among the Navajo Indians. Well, that never happened because he was called back up into northeast Iowa, and then eventually in 1961 down to Texas. And as he saw this relationship between me and the Comanches and other tribes develop, he looked at me and said, "It looks like the Lord gave my vision to you." Amen. He did. Later on, just in a month from now, I will be traveling up to the northern part of our panhandle, just west of Amarillo. I will stand there at the joining point of New Mexico and Texas, and I will welcome Native Americans who started a Moccasins Across America march in San Diego just this week as they make their way into Texas. And as Texas in the past, long past, other than this treaty, did not welcome and even asked for their removal, I will stand there with other brothers and sisters and welcome them as they walk through our state, a state that covenantally belongs to everyone who lives in it, the indigenous and the newly arriving ones. Covenant is a powerful, powerful tool. Tool doesn't seem to make the word, does it? It is the heart of God, because that's what He's made with each one of us. So today, May 9th, 2025, we celebrate the anniversary of the signing of that treaty. And it's still in effect. Now let me close with these other thoughts since it's Friday and I won't see you again till Monday. Covenant takes all forms. And there is nothing more powerful than the covenant that the Lord has made with each of us through His Son, Jesus Christ. And then maybe the next most important covenant that has ever been made is between a husband and a wife. A wife who is not just a wife, but a tremendous mother and grandmother, my wife, Kay. I've had the privilege of knowing and loving my grandmothers and my mother, and now my wife. They represent, not only in the past, but today, what true covenant is all about. A commitment that goes beyond everything else, even blood, to say, I will be with you regardless of what goes on in your life. I will stand behind you, walk beside you, take the lead if I need to, and I will support you in the fullness of your life. And that's what my wife, who is a mother and grandmother, has indeed done. Again, let me state this. There is no more powerful instrument in God's arsenal than covenant. Enjoy His covenant with you. And please, Enjoy your covenant with your mothers this weekend. And if they've already gone home, as mine and my grandmothers have, cherish their memories and honor the ones who are still in our midst. Blessings to all of you. Love you much. And I'll be back with you on Monday.